Okay.
Trish.
This episode with Jon Reep, we had my cheeks hurt from laughing.
He is so much fun and so funny, and so kind. I just really fell in love with him.
I know, and now I'm so thrilled that y'all are connected, and that I mean, dream sequences that we all get to do a show together. But the best part of having him on, what I know so far, is it felt like we were just in the green room hanging out. He's just that lovely. So that's why we cut this into 2 episodes.
I know it was so easy to talk to him, and yeah, and I know it for us. It is like being in the green room, but I think the audience also will love hearing his stories.
Oh yeah, y'all. Let me tell you something. If you've ever wondered what it's like sitting in a green room with a bunch of comics carrying on,
Here
this
you
is the
go.
episode for you. So here comes part 2. Without further ado, part 2 of our interview with Jon Reep.
I've only fired him. This is the only person I've ever fired.
Okay.
I didn't hire him, by the way. It really wasn't up to me to fire him. I just told the club, if that guy's here tomorrow, I'm not going on stage.
So basically, so basically, what I got from that story is Thursday night the comic auditions for you.
Yes, that's true. They also do a sound check for me. Because I'm using them like to see if the mic works, the lights
Yeah.
look good. I'll be in the back room going like, you need to turn that up. We can barely hear him. We're like, that light's too bright. Turn that down. And then if they're doing it, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So yeah. And unless I'm bringing my own guy and then my own friend or another comedian I know, then I can trust him and not have to worry about it. But yeah,
Well, that's why headliners take their own features so much nowadays, and it's good and bad. We do it because we don't want to take the chance, but at the same time, it hurts people who are really trying to break in. They can't get as much
yeah,
work, but you just it's
You can't go
some
rogue. I think the
no.
lesson to everybody is, what I do know so far is that you cannot go rogue when you are getting the privilege to learn and getting the time in under great headliners. You have to, they asked you for a reason to a degree, meaning like if you know you're in under a clean comic, tonight's not the night to do nothing but dirty jokes
Right.
because you're not going to help your cause. If
right,
tonight's the night, it takes 2 seconds to pull anybody you're headlining or featuring for up on the YouTube of it all or whatever and go, oh,
yeah,
they're pretty clean. Tonight's not the night for you to take a political stance if that person doesn't tackle
Yeah,
politics.
right.
Like
thank
tonight's
you.
not that night. So I
Right.
always just say, read the room. That's a big life skill with all and millennials, but especially Gen Z. Just read the room and
Yeah.
we want you to do well. I also think too, as I've gotten more experience in this business now, I champion the people I work with now, where I don't think I was maybe given that as much coming up. Like I tend to
Hmm.
like cheerlead them or say, hey, not so much like here, fix your set, like, or here's a punch,
Yeah.
unless someone asked me and I'd be like, this sounds good, or whatever. But it's more about how to socially interact in a club, how to show up and act like you've been there before. Don't roll in there looking like Hot Mess Express, acting new, getting sideways in a ditch with a drink ticket. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
act new.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, for me, if you're a nice person, you don't have to be that funny for me. You just have to not be a douchebag, and
Preach.
don't go over and don't ruin the show. Just do show up on time and be nice and get some laughs. I could say nice things about you, but if you're not nice and you're funny, then I'm not going to help you at
Well,
all.
there's plenty of nice people who are funny. So if you're
That's
not nice and
right.
you're
Yeah.
funny, you're just eliminating yourself. And I started the Punchline in Atlanta, and it was it was during the heyday. It was
Ah,
such a great club. And my first opening job was at other than the Punchline. After I got the Punchline, then I started getting all these other clubs because I worked for the Punchline. And so I had Comedy House Theater in Savannah, Georgia,
yeah.
and uh, Aubrey Pippin ran the Comedy House Theaters, and the first thing he said to me is, as an opener, he said, "You make these announcements. I don't care how funny you are. They're not here to see you. you do your time, you go over your time, you'll never work for me again. And it was the
Yeah.
best advice because I've always stuck to my time and I have realized my position in the hierarchy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And doing your job at your level is how you move to the next level, not
Boom.
by trying to be the other position.
What
Hmm.
Karen said. That's the words.
There we go.
If
I
that's not
thought
the
that.
truest. Yeah, golf clap that, Kay, because you're right.
It's a thumbs up thing
Thumbs
we don't see.
up. If it worked, I'd give you a thumbs up. John is the only one working over there with his camera.
Not doing it now because
Can't get any fireworks for it.
You get fireworks. No, it's so true. It's really, I will say, and not to beat this horse, because the first the show I got to work with John on, like a bigger show, was that John Boy and Billy show that we did at the Grove Park Inn in
Yeah.
Asheville. It was the first
Yeah.
time that I'd been on that kind of a stage with, it was, rest his soul, John Panette
Yeah.
and Jon Reep, and I know I'm leaving out other James Gregory, rest his sweet soul. Like a lot of great comics, and in a phenomenal room that was, as Karen and I love to say, boogity boogity. It was, I mean, on fire, honey. And I was the only woman on the lineup, and I was lucky enough to have a very good show. I was grateful for that show, and everybody, but I stuck to my time. I knew
Hmm.
exactly what I was there to accomplish. I knew what I was being surrounded by, like where they put me in the lineup. And
Hmm.
I made sure to just be kind and stay in my lane. And
Yeah.
that's a big difference, because I know sometimes you'll hear like a lot of feminists will go, that's not, liberal, like to say you stay in your lane. I'm like, no, it really is in your job. It really is, because
Sure.
you are part of a greater whole. Even though you're an individual comic, you're part of a greater whole on a festival or on a show. You just are.
It's a
And
different texting me now. It's a whole nother human being.
come at him, John. Come
I'm
at
so
him
sorry. I'm
on a
so sorry.
podcast. Leave me alone.
Hide alerts. Bam. Okay. Got
But
it.
I think that was, and I've learned that night from John, because John, and I remember this well, the way that night was set up. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was James Gregory that went over. And
Okay.
I realized watching it, because not only was I a fan of everybody that was on, I also had this moment. And Mark, what was Mark's name? God, I loved him so much. Who did the on the redneck on the tractor? Why am I having a senior
Mark,
moment over
Mark Ryan.
Mark Ryan? Mark
Yeah.
Ryan was on it, and it was a fun, great group of humans. But your more seasoned comics went over in their time, yet they were not closing. James Gregory did not
Oh.
close, and I remember
Yeah.
John Reap were closing that particular one. I did a couple of them. Reap closed that particular one, and so it shaved off technically some of his time, because we're at this higher end venue. You still want to go sell merch, big bibbity bobbity boo.
Yeah.
And I watched Jon Reep be an absolute class act, because Gregory and Panette both went over.
Hmm.
Both went over, and I'm back in
Hmm.
the back of the room, like I'm so anal. I was like, this time he's losing minutes. Like, as I was sitting there going, this is, but he's the headline. Like, I was aware. John got up like a class act, beat bop boop, solid gold, dance that mess. Like, you didn't even notice as an audience member at all. You were masterful, but as a comic, I was going, man, he headlined, like, in my mind, and you
Yeah.
were unbothered. You were the definition of unbothered, and you went out and sold out all your damn merch too.
I
I was
did. I
like,
know.
"Go ahead, John!" Like, all his merch was gone in 2 seconds. I was like, "Man, that
Well,
was
I have
impressive."
I'll give you my thoughts on that. Like, if it's a show like that, we got all headliners who are seasoned or know what they're doing, and I'm going like last or next to last, and these guys before me are going over. I'm also thinking, I mean, we're all headliners, so technically everyone's headlining. So, but my set is mine, and if and I'm getting paid the same, no matter if I do less time or more time. And what do I care? I don't have an ego about it. You want to do if everyone's supposed to do 15 and one guy does 20, next guy does 25, and now they go Reap. You only have to do we need you to do 15 only or 10 only. I go easy. You know, I
You
can go up there and
were
do nothing. I'm here though. You still have to pay me,
right.
so I'm going to go up there. And then
Eh,
that's fine with me. I don't have an ego about that. But it's the people who are not the season headliners or the features or the open
Well,
mics.
that's what I was referring to, and sticking to your time, the
Sticking to
opener,
your
the
time.
feature. And when
Yeah,
it is all headliners like that, I mean, there's a professional courtesy to keep your
yeah,
time at least close so that the
yeah,
audience isn't worn out by the time the closer gets up there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Have you ever
but
had
yeah,
somebody asked to do a guest spot while you're headlining somewhere, and then they come in and do the guest spot, and then just like
Eat your
to
time.
wait, yeah, and just is like that's not a good idea. Have you ever had to reject a guest spot?
One time.
I have.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Speak on it, Ken. Speak on it. Speak
Well,
on it.
no, I mean, and I'm always generous with the stage, but if someone that I know has abused their time before and then asked for a guest spot, mm,
Like, yeah,
no,
no, it's not good for me. Yeah, I'm the
No.
one that's got to go last, and you're not going to make it easy. So no, thank you.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had a guy asked to do a guest spot, popular guy, very famous, uh, and I'm like, oh, I mean, this would be a thrill for the people who came to see me. They also get to see this person.
Sure.
I'm thinking of it that way, but I'm also thinking, well, he's technically asking me for a favor. Like, hey, can I go up in front of your crowd during your show? And I'm like, well, can I be a guest on your podcast? You know,
Fair enough.
quid
Fair
pro
enough.
quo.
Sure.
And I never heard back from them. They like it was a text. Like didn't come, didn't do the spot, didn't
John,
answer, just didn't show up.
Oh my gosh.
And I still haven't talked to him.
I can't even put my jaw back up.
That pisses me off.
That
Yeah,
that
No kidding.
that
yeah.
gets in my
Wow.
craw. That's
It is a
hateful.
it is a power move. I'll tell you who it is off air. You'll be like, oh,
Okay,
I get
yeah,
it.
oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, done. We're gonna sorry, y'all, that's gonna be a family sidebar because we don't like to talk nasty mess about people, but we do need to spill the tea on account of it could happen to one of us. So
Yeah.
it's really about just short checks and balances.
So
Let me
know
ask
this: if
yeah,
you're a famous comedian and you're watching this right now and you want to do a guest spot on my show, know that I might ask you for a favor as well. So know that.
what and by the way,
Quid pro
that's
quo.
yeah, quid pro quo, and that's a, that goes without saying. Like, this is what my husband says all the time, and I love it. He goes, "You don't just get to throw around relational collateral. You don't just get to throw around relational collateral and think, oh, I'm going to use it one sided because you gonna run out of debit, son." And I'm like, ooh, ooh, because it's true. It's like we all have relational collateral for a reason. And I'll say to Jon Reep, I called him in a ditch in 2021, and John was like right when the world was coming back together. And I said, "Hey, can I come do some time?"
Hmm.
He was at the Punchline, and I hadn't been on stage, y'all. Was it 21 or 22? I might have been 2022. I'm trying to think of what year it was.
It may have been 22.
I think it was 22. Now that
But
I'm saying it, it's
I mean,
2022.
that's easy for me to say yes to you,
Well, but
obviously.
this is well, I love you, thank you, because John also I'm lucky enough to travel with John, and again, I fight in the streets for him and sell his merch. So, I said I wanna come up because I hadn't been on stage in 2 years, and I was nervous. I had decided, y'all, that I wasn't funny. I went into a whole ditch. We'll have that whole conversation when I thought I wasn't gonna do comedy anymore, and I just the COVID did it to me too. I was just like, I'm not funny. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was worst case of imposter syndrome there was. And Jon Reep got me in the green room at the Punchline, grabs my shoulders and goes, "Look at me." I'm gonna tell the story because it was so sweet. You go, "Look at me." I go, "I just don't know what I'm doing." And you, "Yes, you do. You're funny. Yes, you do." And you're like, and you know what? I had to listen to my own stuff on Apple Music to remember my set because I hadn't been on stage in 2 years because it's dang COVID. And we're funny, Trish. We know what we're doing. Don't you doubt. And I had tears in my eyes before I went on stage, and I'm like, oh my God. And I tell my husband says all the time, I go, if it was not for Jon Reep, I don't know that I would have gotten back on stage because you're like, don't forget who you are. And for whatever reason, that was the masterful mystical thing that stuck. And I was like, he's right. Like this ain't wizardry, and I do have the skill sets. And I
Yeah.
was so
Well,
grateful.
you already got the skill sets, the natural talent, and it's muscle memory. And fight or flight kicks in when you get in front of the people. It's gonna come out. I mean, it might not come out the best it's ever been, but you'll get there.
Yeah.
You'll get there because you have the chops, and you did, and you're fine.
Well, I love you for that, and if it was not, I will say it to the hill, had it not been I called Karen on the way to the club, and I was like, "I'm gonna throw up," and she's like, "You're doing a guest set." I'm like, "I'm still gonna throw up." I was like,
And let me just say, I still listen to my set on Apple Pod to
Yeah,
"Yes."
remember it. If I go more than a week off stage, I'm like, I
yeah.
don't know what I'm talking about. What
Oh, I
is
have
this?
to pull it up now too, where I'm like, Have I done this joke in a set? Wait, what? How do I get into this? The worst
I
is how
know.
do I get into this?"
How
Yeah.
do you get into it, and then what do you do when it's over? How do you get into the next one? Right, it's all getting into it. How do I get into it?
How do I get out of it?
How do I get out of it?
Where am I? Who am I?
Or as
Yeah.
Karen and Leanne and I were lucky enough to be on the road together for years, would look at each other and go, "What's my act?" We would just all stare at each other and go, "What's
I'll
Uh,
be
my
like,
act?"
I can do
yeah.
yours, but I can't remember mine.
Yeah, you could wake me in the middle of the night and I can give you the beginning of Karen's, and I'm like, "Mine? I don't know. I can't remember."
Oh gosh. Yeah, that was a scary moment for me. Like I was in Tampa. That's the one the one gig that didn't cancel during COVID. Of course, it was in Florida.
Yeah.
Uh, but like everything
Right.
was getting canceled, canceled, and I get it. Here we go. This is a big pandemic. We're in the middle of it, and it sucks. But here we go. And then Tampa's like that one lone tour date at the end of the year that I was like a beacon in the night. I'm like, they're gonna cancel. I'll just wait. I'll let them. They'll call me, and it'll be. I'll just wait. Months goes by, it's still there. It's not. They haven't called me yet. I'm thinking, do I need to call? No, I'll just wait. And it's like we're playing a game of chicken. Like it was like a week out. I get the phone call like, "You all set, buddy?" I'm like, "We're doing it, huh? Okay. Yep. Let me get my flight." Flew to Tampa, Florida. Got there. I could have listened to my set on my phone on the plane, but I didn't. I was
No.
lazy and stupid.
Yeah,
And
that would have
now
been
I
easy.
get to this condo and the Wi-Fi's not working. I'm like, "Oh god, I can't even download. How did I get it? What did I say? I think I said this." And then I'm trying to think. And I don't remember. I didn't. Not only did I forget my material, I forgot what I called it. Like I forgot the names of the bits, and that scared
Oh.
me. I'm like, "Holy crap!" I was gonna write sheets, like write down. I was like, "What do I
Bullet
even call
points.
that
You can
bit?" And yeah, that first time on stage after all that, you know, I think because it was Tampa and it's side splitters, and I've been coming there for years, the people who always show up didn't care, and they're like, "Just talk," and I'm like, "Oh," and it was not great, but you know, as like I said to you, it's the muscle memory at fight or flight. Something's going to come out. You
right.
know,
That's
And it
right.
really does. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, look, we didn't mean to eat up all your time, John. You've been so gracious with your time, and
this is fun. I love this.
we could first of all, we could do like 3 hours with John. I wanna ask you we usually have fast 5 questions, but I don't even have them right now. Normally, I'm like, "Corey, do you have the questions?" I'm gonna ask her this off screen. Can you put them on the chat if you have them, Corey? Maybe she doesn't. She's all
I
like,
love
"I'm
this.
all in a ditch. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
this
what."
is like hanging out in the green room right
Oh, I
here.
know this is when I tell you my joy level right now of just getting to s hang with you is just there they are.
If I were zooming in or whatever the riversiding in to you guys on my phone, I would walk around and show you some of this house right now. But I'm on my laptop. It's this big brick. I
Oh,
got
his
I got to
house is stunning. Your house is
yeah. I love it. I love it. That's what I've
you
been
do need
dreaming
to
about
tell
my whole
everybody
career.
really you need to tell everybody about your wedding really quick, second wedding,
Oh
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
one of the coolest, like, of what I know so far. Because John and I are both married twice. My first wedding was, 2-hour special on E, that was, like, ridiculous to somebody that I, probably shouldn't have been married to. It's fine. And then the second wedding, I married my now husband, who I love and adore, in a treehouse in Topanga in the heart of COVID. I didn't even have shoes on, and I pulled some dress that I had in the closet out.
Right.
Like,
Sounds perfect.
it was
Yep.
awesome. John's, fair kinda similar situations, but speak on it, please, because I think it's
Yeah.
so cool.
So, it's both like you. It's both me and my current wife's. It's both of our second marriages, and we didn't want to make a big deal about it because yeah, I feel like you sort of shoot the wad on the first one with all the gifts and the money and the invitations. It's like, all right, let's not go through that again. We'll do some, but we wanted to have fun. So what we did, our wedding was disguised as a second chance prom. People showed up to our wedding thinking they were going to an 80s, 90s themed prom. They had gowns, they had tuxedos, and we charged them $30 to get in.
They sure did. I love everything about this.
Yeah, so we made money, we had a good time, and about halfway during the prom, I go up to make an announcement, like thank everybody for, donating this barbecue, this venue, whatever it was, and uh, I said, we have a special guest that wanted to send a message. You couldn't be here, so we had the big screen come down, and it was Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood had made a video who I just met like a month before. That's a whole nother crazy story.
Great story.
And so they made this video. And because I was like keying up, I was like teasing this prom. Like, you never know who's going to pop up my prom. We got celebrity mystery guests that's going to show up at my prom. Think of the biggest person in the 90s. Who was, and it was Garth Brooks or whatever. So anyway, I had to make this video. And they came on screen and said, "Hey, everybody, it's Garth Brooks, Trisha Yearwood here. We hope you're having a good time at Jon Reep's prom in Hickory." And they make this little announcement. And then they go, "But I think they should go ahead and get married. What do you guys think? What if they got married right now?" And then Garth Brooks goes, "Start the ceremony." And then, like, the lights change, people come out, the seats come out, people start partying. I walk up. I'm already up there. John Heffron, who was an ordained minister, showed up, and he's standing there. I had my son and my brother, and then all of a sudden the music changes, and Jody's in the back of the room in a wedding dress, and people are like, "What is going on?" And we got married right there in front of family and a lot of strangers who paid money to be there at the prom.
That is
And
awesome.
and we did the wedding, lasted maybe 10 minutes at the most. And then we said, "All right, back to the prom," and went outside and took pictures. And it was a fundraiser, honestly. We raised over, we didn't keep the money. We covered our costs, but the rest of the money we gave to like an open door homeless food ministry here in Hickory. And so we raised over $11,000.
That's
Isn't that
fantastic.
awesome?
What a great story.
And it
I'm
made me go
telling
like, I gotta do more events like this,
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, you should
because
just start doing pop-up, like, events for people that they don't know people are gonna be at a surprise. I mean,
right.
everything but a funeral, that
I
takes
mean,
a
all of
turn.
us could go online right now and be a minister, or get
Mhm.
ordained online, and do that as a fee. Like, I'll marry you, I'll show up, and the whole
How
thing.
fun would that be?
You paid me a lot of money to do it, but I'll do
Yeah.
it.
We'll
No
give you
kidding.
a tight
And
60-minute set that includes your vows.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
That
You
would
pick all the venue, you do all the stuff. I'm just gonna show
yeah,
up.
little side hustle.
Yeah, I'm not mad at
Yes.
that, by the way.
Side hustle. I had to, our brains had to think of side hustles during COVID because I was really thinking this I gotta find another way to make money. It could
Uh,
all, I might not ever do comedy again, and so you know, that entered my brain as a side hustle. Obviously, stuff like this, zooming and talking to your comedian friends. So that's why I started the two podcasts that I have now.
yes. Sorry, John, we didn't even cover that. John has 2 great podcasts. You have Carolina Reaper.
Carolina Reaper. It used to be called Country Ish. I changed the name because people didn't understand the ish. Country people don't care or like ish, and ish don't like country. And I
That's the
felt like it was
truth.
a lose lose. It was a lose lose. I said, I'm done with that title. So I'll just be me, Carolina. I'm from North Carolina. Reaper. It's also a pepper. Also have a barbecue sauce right
You
there.
okay,
John
wait,
Reep.
briefly, can we discuss what the hell happened to the hot sauce? Because Jace Fincher and I, my husband and I fought over that. We had 2 bottles,
Yeah, yeah.
and you discontinued your hot sauce,
No,
and my husband and I fought over that. It's the single best hot sauce, and we love hot sauce in our house.
yeah.
Where did it
I
go?
can still get you that hot sauce. What
John,
I
black
did
market
was
me that hot sauce.
the guy who makes the barbecue sauce
Okay.
also makes hot sauce. So I have a new hot sauce. Um, it's also very good. It's made with the Carolina Reaper pepper,
Am I gonna sweat
but
to death, though? Because the last one was good because I could tolerate it.
right. Yes. This one's a little harder. But the other one people love as well, and that is
Okay.
still available. I just took it off the website, but I'll send you some because
Okay, please.
you're not the first person to say like, what happened to the other hot sauce?
John Reap's hot sauce, which was what was that, Carolina Reaper, that hot
That
sauce?
was just called John Reep's Hickory hot sauce, so good to make your head shake.
And it really did. And it was one of the like Jace, my husband, I would literally ration this hot sauce, Karen. I've never enjoyed a hot sauce like this. And I was like, well, John needs to be selling this everywhere.
Yeah,
Like,
I
yeah.
love
The
a
guy
hot
who
sauce too. Mm.
do you like
okay,
hot sauce?
we'll get you one.
Yes.
I'll buy you one from John if I can, because it's the
I'll,
best I've ever
I'll
had.
send you some. I'll send you the new hot sauce. I'll send you the barbecue sauce, and
Yum.
there's different. There's hot versions of this too, and there's so the guy who made this. All right, so I'm back in Hickory. This guy, there's a barbecue restaurant called the Hickory Smokehouse, which people love here, and
Okay.
this guy who the guy who owned it had two of them made his own sauce, and people loved it. I'm talking barbecue sauce, not hot sauce.
Okay.
And he's like, he contacts me. He's like, "Hey, I know you're back in Hickory. You talk about Hickory all the time. I got the word Hickory in my restaurant. Let's do something." I said, "Okay." Another human being, a
That's
different
the
human.
that's the hot sauce guy.
He's listening. I'm gonna have to mute everybody. I'm actually going in here
Everybody.
and clicking hide alerts on 3 different people during this. Okay. So the guy who makes this sauce, he said he makes a 3 different styles, Carolina styles. There's a mustard base, vinegar base, and a tomato base. And this one
Oh.
that I like is a blend of all of those.
Oh.
And it's not as thick. It's not the sweet stuff like Texas or St. Louis. This is more of
I
tangy.
like
It's
a
got a
vinegar.
bite.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
Yeah,
favorite.
I
It
like
has
it
a
yeah,
too.
little tang to it.
Mm.
yeah. So
I'm
that's
in.
that's what I got going on in the podcast Carolina Reaper. It's a live-ish. We do it live every Tuesday. Sometimes we record them, but sometimes we're live. I don't like people know when I'm live or not. I want you to think I'm live every time. So sometimes you'll pre-record a show and put it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on my Facebook and my YouTube channel. I have another podcast that's just a podcast. It's just for your ear holes. That one's called AI Absolute Ignorance. And it's me, sometimes John Heffron and other friends. We're just trolling Chat GPT. Like we're really kind of messing with like the bots. Like you said, you ever get in an argument with a bot?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we do on our show. We like I typed in a Chat GPT. I said, write a stand-up comedy routine in the style of comedian Jon Reep, just to see what it would spit out. And I was nervous. Like, what if it says, "Who is that?" That would devastate me, right? But it wrote this whole thing, and I'm looking at it like, and that's what Chat GPT thinks that Jon Reep comedy is. So it must be that's what's in the zeitgeist. And do I want to try and repair this? Do I want to use it? So I was impressed and insulted at the same time.
That is scary, frightening, and it frightens me because you put up a picture on social. I think it was like asking Chat GPT to make an image of you in Denver,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, John looks darling," and then I was like, "That's not John Reep. What is this?"
No.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And it freaked me out because I couldn't believe how much it got you right.
Yeah. So it got this area right here really good. Like this
Yeah.
here, like my cheeks and my mouth. And it can throw it on anything. And it made me look like a hipster guy from Denver, with the
It was
true like the true
wild.
stuff.
What
Oh,
app
Yes.
what
wow.
app did you do that in? Because I was in absolute shock.
That one I believe is called Discord.
Okay, I was
Um,
fully in shock, and I thought, "That
yeah.
is John Reep." If anybody told me different and I zoomed in, I was like, "Wait, that's not John Reep."
Oh, it's so crazy. Randy Travis has a brand new song that he didn't even sing. Do you know
What?
about this?
No.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
it was on 60 Minutes. So we talked about this kind of stuff. We love AI, but apparently, Randy had a stroke or whatever, and
He
he's not
is,
in his
bless
best
him.
health. He's still alive, and he can still write music. And so he has a new song, and he used AI. So what he did was, I don't know how it's kind of hard to explain. There's another country singer, I think his name is Jake Owen, who has a deep voice and can sound like Randy Travis a little bit. So they wrote this new song. They had Jake Owen sing it, but because Randy Travis, his voice is out there, it already exists, in digital form, and it's all just a map. Your voice, it's all a map. And so they just took that digital print of Randy Travis's voice pattern and put it on top of Jake Owen singing this new song, and they just changed the vocals, and it's Randy Travis
Oh my
singing
God.
Uh-uh.
the
That's
song.
crazy, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't even know what to do with myself right now.
I know. It's so good. I mean, the song is so good, and in this 60 minutes piece, Randy's sitting next to other country music artists playing his song and didn't tell him it was not him, and they were like, "This is unbelievable. This is great. And how did you do it?" And then they told him like, "What?" So yeah, AI, it's a coming for us.
It's a
It
coming.
is coming for us. I mean, it's impressive and scary at the same time. I mean, it's just
Preach on that.
yikes.
I'm gonna write a whole new because I love doing parodies and spoofs. I do it. We probably all do this in our brains anyway. When you hear a song, you just start changing the lyrics in your
Oh,
head or the
yeah.
Yeah.
title. So I'm like, if I can use AI and I can upload my singing voice and I can write a whole new version of a song, I could be the next Weird Al Yankovic. I could do it. It'd be so easy if I use AI. So I'm going to come up with a whole new. This is my one of my goals for this summer is come up with a whole new yacht rock album because I love yacht rock. You know,
Yeah, I
spring
love yacht
comes,
rock. Oh, please give us a
sailing, Christopher
Toto,
Cross.
a sail yes, I was about to
Yeah.
say, give us an Africa. Yes, give us a
Yes, right.
Roxanne.
So that's all I listen to starting in May till about mid July. You know, then I get burned out on it. But I love me some yacht rock. And what I'm going to do is write a thing called Yacht Not Rock. And it's going to be like, you ought not be doing that. And it's going to be like about a guy who lost his yacht in a divorce. And every song is going to mean, it's going to be its own thing. Like, for instance, you know, Bob Seger's Night Moves.
Oh, great
Yeah.
song.
So night moves. I'm gonna write a
Exactly.
song called. It's gonna be about side boobs, and it's gonna be all about a guy who just likes to get a peek of like this girl's side boob, and that's gonna cause a divorce, and he's gonna lose his yacht, and it's gonna be all these different songs that are gonna bleed into the other. Yacht not rock. I got to work on it. That's my
Yacht
new
Not Rock.
project.
It's your, it's like a rock opera because each song
Yes,
speaks to the next.
yes,
I
yes.
can't wait. I can't wait.
Side boobs is the first one. I got to write side boobs.
Please. Can we ask you some quick questions before you go?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some quick ones. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, this is a great question. I used to say flight. I used to say invisibility,
Oh,
but now that I'm
like this.
older, and I think that yeah, if I could fly, that'd be great, but I could still get hurt. If I'm invisible, that'd be great, but that could probably get me into trouble. But what I want now is invincibility. Like I would love to be able to create a force field to pop up, maybe just a half an inch over my whole body that's invisible, that nothing could hurt me ever.
Oh.
And I could say I would talk so much trash. So I'd love to
So,
go around and police the world. Like, "Sir, you're not gonna return your shopping cart? You're just gonna
Yeah,
leave it out here?"
yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
No, but
I
I
mean,
don't do these things because, like, what if this guy's carrying a gun?
that's
But
right.
Right.
if I had this
That's
force field, I'd be the world police.
Oh, you'd be the best world police too. You'd just be our conscience with a nice little bubble of protection.
yeah, I'd be
I'd say it
walking
nice the
up
first time. Yeah.
I'd be walking up going, "We're taking that dog."
Yes, you would. Here would
Yes.
I'd be
save every animal.
scooping up every animal that wouldn't be taken care of the way I see it should be.
There you go. See, invincibility. People don't
That's a
think
good
about that.
one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. I love that one. Okay, here we go. Which way do you put the toilet paper on the roll, John? Over or under?
I used to not care about it, and I really mostly don't. But now, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more OCD a little bit.
Yes.
Like, I clean my room, I make
You're
up my
very
bed.
clean. You're a very clean person, thank God.
So, it's gotta go over the top. It's gotta go this way. It's
Yeah,
gotta go over the top. Yeah. I
that's
mean,
the
it's
reason I love you.
kind of a hindrance to go like that and get it. So, over the top.
Over the top. Here's a
Yeah.
good one because you were on one of my favorite shows of all time, Eastbound and Down. This question is, what would be your walk-up song if you were a pro athlete? What's your
Oh,
walk-up to at bat if you're a pro
well,
athlete?
right now, I walk up to, a song that was on the soundtrack of, Dewey Cox Walk Hard. So, there's a song on there called "Guilty as Charged," and I love that. It's these like Mexican horns right away, and it's really loud, and it like gets people pumped. And it says, "Good morning, Your Honor. May I approach the bench?" And then I just take the stage. I love that one. Um,
That's a great song. You know, I just wrote that down because I'm gonna be listening.
oh yeah, that soundtrack, that movie is brilliant.
Do not.
It was written by an actual good a musical, like a real country music artist. I think the same guy that did the story with Lady Gaga, Star is Born. The
Oh
same guy
yeah.
Oh yeah.
like did the soundtrack for back in the day, Dewey Cox. Like
Oh
it's
my
really good
gosh.
music, and it's funny, but John C. Riley can sing,
Yes, he
and
can.
the music is good. Yeah.
That's a
So,
I love
but as an
acting.
athlete, well,
I know athlete's a
probably
little different because I know a comic walk up is very different than an athlete.
yeah. No, I got to get my.
Mhm.
It would be "Welcome to the Jungle" by Guns N' Roses.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I like that one, John.
yeah, yeah.
All right. I'm gonna give you what's the best advice you've ever been given? Can you tell we don't ask our guests this before y'all? And I want to because I don't want you to know. So I
No,
love that
no.
you're thinking.
I want to answer it like truthfully
Yeah.
and funny, but
Yeah.
both. uh, well, I'll give you the funny one first. Killer Bees. Do we know
Oh,
Killer
love
Bees?
Killer
Yep.
Bees.
I was emceeing for Killer Bees in the very beginning of my career, and I was going through my alternative music phase, where I had a little bit of hair, my little patch of hair on my chin. I had a beaded necklace. I had corduroy pants. I had Tevas with wool socks.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, yeah. I still love alternative music. Pearl Jam. I saw them
Yes.
at concert twice, but that was the phase I was in. That was popular at the time, and that's what I was dressing like. So Killer Bees headliner, a little older than me, got a lime green jacket. Okay, he's got a black turtleneck, and I'm over here in socks and Tevas, right? And I didn't even think of this as a problem, but I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, Mr. Bees, I'm going to be the MC tonight. What would you like for me? How would you like me to introduce you?" And I said, "Do you have any advice for an up and coming comedian?" And it was great. Like he looked me up and down, and he goes, "Get a jacket."
Sounds just like
I
him.
can't.
And
Dead
I'm like,
on.
"All right." So he's insulting me and being funny, and I'm down with it. And I love Killer Bees. It
I
was just,
love
it was a
Killer
funny
That's
little.
Bees.
hilarious. Well, that's a
Get it.
perfect
That was
impression.
I was just about to say that was a dead,
No.
solid, perfect impression.
Yeah,
I
no,
love
I
that
I
one.
mean, really good advice is just life advice or comedy advice. Comedy advice is, don't quit. It's not over till you say it's over. Just keep going. There's going to be some ups and downs. Keep writing, keep performing. It'll come together. It'll have to if it's all you do.
Preach on that. I
So
love
I don't
that
know.
one. Oh, those were both great. And then I'm gonna leave you with the last one, which is what do you know so far?
What I know so far is we're only on this planet for a little bit, and you might as well make as many friends as you can and be nice. Try not to cry.
I know, because you're the best, John.
Be
John's
nice.
John's one of the sweetest humans I know. I know. Look at him. Give me the
I'll be
hand.
right back.
Do it.
I was
Go
I was
go
thinking
get
about I was thinking about dad, and I started tearing up.
I was just about to say, well, have great parents, and in my heart, I have always wanted to just John to do a biopic so I could maybe at some point play Betty Reep
Oh
because his
God,
mom's an angel unicorn on planet Earth. But
yeah,
his daddy is also just a solid. You just come from solid human beings, and that's why you're such a solid human being and
yeah. Old
grateful.
popsicle, he was great.
Oh, popsicle, and
Oh,
he's just and he left us this year, and John moved his whole life to be
Yeah,
there for his family, and that never
yeah.
gets lost on me. The kind of human you are and continue to be.
Well, thank you for having me on this. This was fun.
Thank
We got to do
you.
this more often because this is therapeutic too. I love it.
yes, it
Good.
is.
We love that. We'll have you on as much as you'll let us annoy the crap out of you. And we have so many. Lord, we could do the John Reep episode, volume 1 through 60, honey. We'd have a million episodes.
That's right.
And again, John, so glad we finally met.
I
I
know.
This
I
has been so
know.
fun.
Yeah. God,
and
this was
please, we're not gonna do this just one time. We have to do this a bunch of times, and I'm gonna have you so I don't get your handles wrong. I know them, but will you tell everyone where they can find you on social?
oh, best thing to do for me, go to carolinareaper.com
There you
because
go.
I kinda want them to look at the show, the podcast. I say podcast, it's more like a TV show. We got segments. And if you go to carolinareaper.com, you can get all my tour dates, you can get all my merch there, but you can also see the show and see what it looks like. And it's
Amazing.
a lot of fun. So,
And it's
and
fun to
I gotta
listen
get
to.
you guys to come on sometime as well.
Oh,
I
we'd
Oh,
love
stopped
we'd
doing
to.
love it.
guests. I stopped doing guests for a little bit because it was people got tired of zooming in for a minute. Like people just
Zoom
like I'm done.
fatigue.
The
Yeah.
Zoom fatigue. But now I think we're back. I'm going to start having guests on again. Um, and we change formats too. But yeah, we'll do it. We'll get it.
Well, we would love it. And thank y'all for listening to what I know so far. You can rate, subscribe, review, all the things. Karen and I love y'all so much. And please give us a follow. Please listen to Carolina Reaper and give it a follow and give AI. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
the AI podcast to follow. That's fun as all
No
get out.
kidding.
You and Heffron, I'm in. I mean, that's all I
yeah,
need to know to get me signed up. We
yeah.
love y'all and have the best day ever and be kind to each other. That's what we know so far.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Namaste.